the GST Council meet. So it's the big story as well. The meet will take place today starting 11 a.m. A host of issues expected to be on the agenda, including the taxation that we pay on insurance premium, online gaming and more. I'm joined now by Rishabh, who is going to be on top of that story and is tracking it very, very closely. Rishabh, you're already at the venue, well in time before the meeting as well. Now, typically before any GST Council meeting, there's a lot of kite flying about what can happen. But what is officially on the agenda and what are you learning?
Right, we're at the Sushma Swaraj Bhavan, where later today we'll have the 54th GST Council meeting here. A bunch of state FMs already being sort of rolling in, their representatives also rolling in already early this morning. What we know so far is that there are at least two things on the agenda. One will be the removal of tax on research grants, that is one thing. And the other one is the GST on payment gateway transactions less than 2,000 rupees. These two things are definitely on the agenda, but what's top of the mind is, of course, the health and life insurance premiums that is currently being talked about. Those are taxed at about 18% right now. Remember, Union Minister Nitin Gadkari also wrote to Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman on this and requested for the urgent withdrawal of this sort of tax, because life and health insurance is somewhat of a luxury for a majority of Indians currently. So that will be on top of mind. There will also be a status report on online gaming that is expected to come across. That will include all the sorts of revenue implications that the government will have if they decide to reduce the tax burden on these gaming companies, which currently stands at about 28%, which is the highest tax slab there is. There's also obviously the ongoing debate about game of skill versus game of chance that also finds its mention at every GST Council meet. Apart from that, some more possible things that could find their way onto the GST agenda are GST for cancer drugs that could see some sort of a reduction. We're also hearing something on exemptions for electricity meter services. So these are some of the top things on the agenda today, and we'll be tracking them closely.
Stay tuned to NDTV Profit all day. The press conference is expected between 3 and 5 p.m. this evening. And of course, you will get details of what exactly is happening in that GST Council meet a little earlier. So we're the destination for that. Abhishek A. Rastogi is also joining us. He is founder at Rastogi Chambers, tracks the law on GST very, very closely. Abhishek, great to speak with you this morning. I mean, every time there's a GST Council meeting, sometimes there's over-promise and then under-delivering. Because at the end of the day, for all states to decide on giving up 18% tax on insurance, for example, it means a loss of revenue. Do you think we're close to consensus this time round?
I think it will come partially, if you ask me, because the state's recommendation will be very critical here, because state is a predominant stakeholder as well as far as the revenue is concerned. So I think the benefit will come, but it may come with some caveats. For instance, it may come for only certain categories of insurance policies. It could come based on age criteria. And I think it will be a good to start with, because if some sort of benefit comes based on some criteria, then I think at least we're moving in the right direction. So I think that is what is expected
Abhishek,
from
what do you mean age criteria? I mean, you'll pay tax at a certain age and not at a certain age?
No. So for instance, if we talk about the insurance policies, and these are health insurance policies. So if you are over 60 years of age, premium may be exempted. Things like that can come up in the meeting, and those could be implemented immediately. And there could be deliberations on the other aspects as well.
Okay. Apart from the insurance piece, what else do you expect to be on the agenda and actually see some resolution?
So I think airline for sure is on the agenda, and there needs to be some sort of reconciliation between the state and the center, and also the policy framework needs to be seen, because a lot of foreign airlines are getting that brunt, and these taxes are huge. And also keeping in mind the diplomatic relationships which India has with a lot of these countries. Some of these airlines are national carriers. So I think tax certainty will certainly come into play when GST Council today decides with respect to airline sector. Secondly, I think online gaming, the matter is sub judice. The matter is before the Supreme Court. We are getting dates after dates, and it could be heard anytime now. I think what is more important is not just the rate of 18 versus 28%. What is more important and why we are in Supreme Court is with respect to the valuation. If the valuation is on the entire amount of the gaming bet, then it is the problem. If the tax is at 18% or 28%, but only on the revenue of the online gaming company, then I don't see that should be a big problem. So I think more than the tax rate, the valuation will be the key, and whether GST Council will be able to address that based on the number, the revenue, etc. I think that will have to be seen, but I don't think that decision can be announced in this GST Council meeting. It will still take more time.
All right, thank you so much for that, Abhishek Rastogi there. And yeah, I think from a markets perspective, the big one is going to be the insurance pack, which has run up so many times on the hope that GST relief will come in, that I don't know how much steam there is left in it, but yeah, you might continue to see some of this today as well playing out in trade.